Hello everyone, this is Surya Kausal sir, and today I am going to discuss the remaining part of this chapter, current electricity. So friends, in my previous video I have discussed up to drift velocity. Okay, drift velocity. In this video I will discuss the remaining part of this topic, drift velocity. I will give the derivation of it, and also I will explain from this topic, drift velocity. So friends, firstly, what do you mean by drift velocity? As you know, in any conductor there are many free electrons are present which moves here and there randomly, okay, from its thermal velocity, which is very higher velocity, which I have already discussed in my previous video. So each and every electrons will move in a zigzag path, not in a fixed direction, okay. And when we applied some potential difference on it, let us connect it with a source. Let here it is a battery having potential difference B, and it is switch. When we switch on this circuit, then each and every free electrons will start to move towards a particular direction. As we know, electrons are negatively charged particle, okay. Electrons are negatively charged particles, and it will move towards the positive terminal. As we know, according to electrostatic force or Coulomb's law, according to Coulomb's law, two different types of charges will always attract to each other, okay. Two different types of charges will always attract to each other, and two same type of charges will always repel to each other, okay. Let us suppose two positive charges, then it will repel together, and if two negative charges are there, then also they will repel together. But if two different types of charges are present, one is positive, another is negative, then both will be attract to each other, okay. So each and every free electron will start to move towards the positive terminal of the battery, okay. This is positive terminal and this is negative terminal. So each and every free electron will start to move in a particular direction towards the positive terminal of the battery, okay. And in the opposite direction of this electron, electric current will flow, okay. In the opposite direction of this flow electron, the electric current will flow, because as we know, the direction of electric current will always from positive to negative, or in a simple way you can say electric current always flow in the same direction of electric field, okay, in the same direction of electric field. And as we know, the direction of electric field will be always from positive to negative, okay. So these free electrons will move towards the positive terminal of the battery, and in the opposite direction of electron the electric current will flow. As we know, the thermal velocity is very higher velocity, because the thermal velocity is nearly equal to 10 to the power 4 meter per second, okay. 10 to the power 4 meter per second, it is very higher velocity. So let us suppose, before applying this potential, the electrons are moving here and there with its thermal velocity. Let us suppose the thermal velocity of first electron is u1, okay. Second electron's thermal velocity is u2. Third electrons have u3, and nth electron have un thermal velocity, okay. It is in the order of 10 to the power 4 meter per second, and as you know, the average value of this thermal velocity will be always equal to 0, okay, because which I have already discussed in my previous video, that if n number of, or if 1 million of electron is moving in this direction, okay, then it is possible that 1 million electrons can move in the opposite direction of these electrons, okay, because as we know, 10 to the power 29 free electrons are present in 1 meter cube, okay. So per meter cube volume, 10 to the power 29 electrons are present, and it is very huge number, okay. So as we know, if 1 million of electrons are moving in this direction, then it is possible that 1 million electron can move in the opposite direction of these electron, okay. And as we know, the thermal velocity is nearly equal. So here let the thermal velocity of this 1 million electron is u1, then also it will be u1 and it will cancel out, because velocity is a vector quantity. Okay, and if let us suppose if 5 million of electrons are moving in this direction, then also it is possible that 5 million electron can move in the opposite direction of these electrons. Okay, then also their velocity will cancel out, because as we know, the energy will be always equals to the half mv square. Okay, the heat energy or the thermal energy due to which these electrons are moving here and there freely, that energy will be equals to half mv square, and the mass of electrons are constant and also 2 is constant, so it is directly proportional to v square. Okay, so the velocity of each and every electrons, the thermal velocity of each and every electrons are nearly equal, so both velocity will be cancelled out. Okay, and the resultant of net velocity will be always equals to 0. So the thermal velocity will be equal to 0, the average value of thermal velocity. Okay, now when we applied this potential difference on this conductor, so each and every electrons start to drift, okay, towards the positive terminal. Let us suppose the drifting velocity of first electron is v1, second electron is v2, and for nth electron is vn. Okay, so the average value of all these velocity v1, v2, v3 as so on, all these velocities average value is known as drift velocity. Okay, so you can say it is defined as the average value of velocity of each electron, each free electrons, due to which they get drifted towards the positive terminal of the battery. I just want to clear one more thing. According to our first chapter, electric field intensity is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square. Okay, and potential difference is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q upon r. Okay, and what is the relation between E and V? Let's divide first equation from second, and we will get E upon V will be equals to, this value will cancel, and q will also cancel by q, and 1 r will be cancelled by 1 r. So we will get 1 upon r. From this formula we can write here E will be equals to V upon r. Okay, where E is electric field intensity, V is applied potential, and r is distance from that charge, that source charge. Okay, distance from that source charge. So friends, if the length of conductor is L, okay, if the length of conductor is L and electron is drifting from here to there, so here E can be write V upon L, because here the value of distance is L, so we can write it E is equals to V by L. Let us suppose a conductor having n number of electrons which are drifting towards the positive terminal of the battery under the influence of electric field. Okay, under the influence of electric field. Here we are connecting it from the source, therefore it is moving towards the positive terminal of the battery on applying potential V. Okay, let us suppose the velocity of each electrons are in order v1, v2, v3 as so on vn. So as we know, the drift velocity is the average value of velocity of each electrons. So drift velocity can be right here v1 plus v2 plus dot 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 plus vn divided by n. Okay, this is the average value of each and every velocity of these electrons. So as we know that v1 will be equals to u1 plus a t1. Okay, u1 plus a t1 according to first equation of motion. Okay, v2 can be right here u2 plus a t2, as it is vn can be right un plus ATN. Okay. Now on putting the above value in first equation, we get VD is equals to U1 plus AT1. The value of V2 is what? U2 plus AT2, as it is. The value of Vn is Un plus Atn and whole divided by n. It can be right here. Vd is equals to U1 plus U2 plus dot 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 plus Un divided by n, plus A will be taken out common, and here we will get T1 plus T2 plus dot 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 plus Tn and whole divided by n. Okay. As we know, the average value of thermal velocity is equal to 0 plus A, and this is called average relaxation time. Okay, it is the average value of time taken by each electrons, so it is called average relaxation time. So Vd can be right here A tau. Okay, it is represented by tau, where tau is called average relaxation time. Okay, average relaxation time. So tau is equals to T1 plus T2 plus dot 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 plus Tn and whole divided by n, which is called average relaxation time. Okay, average relaxation time. Now Vd is equals to A tau. According to second law of motion, according to Newton's second law of motion, F is equals to m into A. Okay, F is equals to m into A, and A can be right here F upon m, and the value of force is equals to Q into E. Okay, which I have already discussed in my previous video. So F is equals to Q into E, and here the value of charge is E, so we can write E into capital E, which is negative nature. Okay, so here we can write minus E into capital E divided by m. It will be the value of acceleration. So average velocity will be equals to, at the place of A we can put the value of A, so E into capital E upon m into tau. Okay, this will be the value of drift velocity, and which is very important topic for our board examination, and the weightage of this topic is 3 marks, and if one numerical is coming on this topic, so it contains of 5 marks. Okay, here the negative sign is representing the opposite direction of electron from the electric field line, because if the direction of electric field is in this direction, so the direction of flow of electron will be in this direction, because always it flows in the opposite direction of electric field lines. The direction of electric field is from positive charge to negative. Okay, and the direction of electrons are from negative to positive. Now relation between drift velocity and electric current. Okay, drift velocity and electric current. Let us consider a conductor having length L. Okay, let us consider a conductor having length L contains uniform area of cross section. Okay, contains uniform area of cross section capital A. Therefore, the volume of conductor will be equals to A into L. Okay, as you know, area into length is always equals to volume, so the volume of conductor will be equals to A into L. If the conductor contains if the conductor contains n number of electron per unit volume, okay, n number of electron per unit volume, then total number of electron will be equals to n into A into L, okay, and the charge of one electron is E, the charge on one electron is E. So the total charge on this electron will be right here n into A into L into E, okay. This will be the total charge contained by the conductor. As we know, the total time taken will be always equals to displacement per unit velocity, okay, displacements per unit velocity, okay. So here the total distance traveled by the charge will be always equals to L, okay, because the length of conductor is small l, so the total distance traveled by the electron is small l, so L upon drift velocity Vd, okay, because the average velocity of electron is Vd, so L upon Vd is equals to time taken. And electric current flowing through the circuit will be equals to Q upon T. So here we place the value of Q, and the value of Q is N A into L upon into E, and upon the value of time is L upon Vd, okay. Here L will cancel out and we will get N into A into A into A into E into Vd, okay. Now we will place the value of Vd. As we know, Vd is equals to E into capital E upon M into tau. So I will be equals to A n E square capital E into tau divided by M, okay, because the value of Vd is E into capital E upon M. So at the place of Vd we will write it, and we will get I is equals to A n E square into capital E into tau upon M. This is also an important derivation of this chapter. Now we are going to discuss about mobility of charge. Mobility of charge. What do you mean by mobility of charge? It is defined as the magnitude of drift velocity per unit electric field intensity, okay. So at the place of Vd we will write the value of it, okay. So the value of Vd is minus E into capital E divided by M into tau upon E. If the value of charge is Q, so we will write here Q, and here both E will be cancelled out, and we will get Q into tau divided by M, okay. So the mobility of charge will be equals to Q into tau divided by M, okay. What is the SI unit of mobility? Okay, SI unit of mu. It is represented by mu. So SI unit of mu is equals to, what is the SI unit of velocity, drift velocity? It is meter per second, and the SI unit of electric field intensity is what? Newton per coulomb, okay. So the SI unit of mu will be equals to meter into Newton per coulomb second, okay. This will be the SI unit of mobility. If electrons are moving in a conductor, so the mobility of electron will be equals to mu E will be equals to, at the place of Q we will place E, because the charge on electron is E, into tau divided by M. We can write here tau E and M E, where tau E is the average relaxation time of electron, okay. Tau is the average relaxation time of electron, and Me is the mass of electron, okay, mass of electron. If holes are moving in a semiconductor, okay, if holes are moving in a semiconductor, then the mobility of hole, the charge on holes, it is also equal to E, okay. So the charge on holes into tau H upon mh, okay, where mh is the mass of holes, okay, mass of hole, and tau h is the average relaxation time taken by the hole, Okay, average relaxation time taken by the hole. I just want to clear one thing. The total current in a conducting material is always equal to the sum of current due to positive current carrier and negative current carrier. Okay. The total current will be always equal to the sum of flow of current by the positive charge carrier as well as negative charge carrier. After it, I am going to discuss a new topic, Ohm's law, which is very important topic for this chapter and also for your board examination. Okay, it is also a very important topic for class 10th, Ohm's law. Okay, so what do you know Ohm's law? According to Ohm's law, at constant temperature, okay, according to Ohm's law, at constant temperature, electric current flowing through the circuit will be directly proportional to the applied potential. Okay, according to Ohm's law, at a constant temperature, electric current flowing through a circuit will be directly proportional to the applied potential. Okay, it is a source having potential difference V, it is switch, and this is resistance. Okay, a resistor. So electric current flowing through a circuit will be directly proportional to the applied potential at constant temperature. So I will be directly proportional to V, or we can say V will be also directly proportional to I. And when proportionality will be removed, then here will be a constant term. So V will be equals to R into I, where R is called resistance. Okay, R is resistance of the circuit, resistance which is constant. Okay, this resistance always opposes the flow of current in a conductor because R is equals to V upon I. Okay, according to this formula, we will find out R is equals to V upon I. So according to this formula, we can say the electric current flowing through the circuit will be inversely proportional to the resistance of the circuit. Okay, so if the resistance of a circuit is doubled or will be doubled, then the electric current flowing through the circuit will be becomes half. Okay, and if resistance of the circuit becomes half, then the electric current flowing through the conductor will be doubled. Okay, so you can say in another definition, resistance is the ratio of applied potential and electric current flowing through the circuit. Okay, the SI unit of resistance is ohm. Okay, SI unit of resistance is ohm. It is represented by this value. Okay, ohm. This resistance depends on following factors, which I will discuss later. Firstly, I just want to derive Ohm's law. Okay, as we know that drift velocity of electron will be equals to E into capital E upon m into tau. Okay, drift velocity of electron will be equals to E into capital E upon m into tau, and E is equals to V upon L, which I have already discussed. Okay, electric field intensity will be always equals to applied potential per unit length. Okay, so at the place of E, we will place the value of E. So Vd will be equals to E into V upon m into L into tau. Okay, this is L. So E into V upon m into L into tau. And electric current flowing through the circuit is equals to A N E Vd, which I have discussed. Okay, so at the place of Vd, we will place the value of this Vd. So A N E, at the place of Vd, we will put E into capital V, means potential difference, upon m into L into tau. Okay, so I will be equals to A N E square into tau upon ml into V. Okay, so V upon I can be right here ml upon ANE square tau. Okay, and this is called resistance of the circuit, and this is a constant term. How can you say it is a constant term? Because the mass of electron will be constant, the length of conductor is constant, having uniform area of cross section, so A is also constant. N is the number of electron per unit volume, it is also constant. E is the charge on an electron, so it is also constant, and tau is average relaxation time, which is constant for all. Okay, so V upon I will be equals to constant, which constant is called R, resistance of the circuit. So we can say R will be equals to V upon I. Okay, and according to this formula, you can say the electric current flowing through the conductor will be inversely proportional to R. And also from this formula, we can write here V is equals to R into I, which is called Ohm's law. Okay, V is equals to R into I. This resistance depends on following factors. Okay, this resistance depends on following factors. The first factor is what? The resistance will be directly proportional to the length of conductor. Okay, resistance of a circuit will be directly proportional to the length of conductor. Second one is what? And resistance will be inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Okay, resistance of a circuit will be inversely proportional to the area of cross section, means R will be directly proportional to 1 upon A. It is our second equation. Okay, on combination of first and second equation, we get R will be directly proportional to L by A. Okay, and when proportionality will be removed, then here will be a constant term. So R will be equals to rho L by A. Okay, R will be equals to rho L by A, where rho is called resistivity of the circuit. Okay, resistivity, or it is also called specific resistance. So rho can be right here. Rho is equals to R into A divided by L. Okay, R into A divided by L. It is called resistivity. Okay, where rho is called resistivity or specific resistance. Okay, specific resistance. Why it is called specific resistance? Because it will be equals to resistance of the circuit in an special case. Okay, in a special case, because if I amount of current is flowing in a unit length and having unit square area of cross section. Okay, unit square area of cross section, so resistivity will be equals to R, because the value of A will be 1 and also the value of L is also equal to 1. So at that case, rho will be equals to R. So we can say that it is also equal to resistance, but in a special case, so it is also called specific resistance. Okay, it is also oppose the flow of electric current in a circuit. The SI unit of resistivity, resistivity is ohm meter. Okay, ohm meter, because the SI unit of resistance is ohm. And what is the SI unit of area of cross section? It is meter square, and the SI unit of length is meter. So it will cancel out. Okay, and we will get ohm meter. So the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Now at the place of R, we will put the value of resistance. It is equals to ml upon a n e square tau. Okay, the value of R is what? ml upon a n e square tau into a upon L. So here L will be cancel out and A will also cancel out. So rho will be equals to m upon n e square tau. Okay, rho will be equals to m upon n e square tau. In this formula, we are looking, here is neither length nor area of cross section. So we can say the resistivity of a conductor or of a material does not depend on the length of conductor or area of cross section of the conductor. It depends only on two factors. One is temperature another one is nature of material, okay, which will be discussed in my next video. It also depends on temperature and nature of material. The third factor of resistance is nature of material. It is also depends on the nature of material, okay. Resistance also depends on the nature of material. And fourth factor is what? It depends on temperature of the material in which electric current is flowing, okay. So it is also depends on the temperature of material. The effect of temperature on resistance will be discussed in my next video, okay, and its derivation will be also discussed in my next video. So I just want to clear two definition in this video. One is conductance, another is conductivity, okay. Conductivity. What do you mean by conductance? It is the reciprocal of resistance, okay. Reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. So at the place of R we can put the value of resistance, which is equals to ml upon a n e square tau, okay. So we will get a n e square tau upon ml, okay. It is the value of conductance. As we know, resistance opposes the flow of electric current in a circuit, but the conductance always support the electric current flowing through the circuit. Now conductivity. What do you mean by conductivity? It is the reciprocal of resistivity, okay. The reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. It is represented by sigma. So sigma can write here, sigma will be equals to 1 upon rho, okay. Now at the place of rho we will put the value of rho, which is equals to m upon n e square tau, okay. So sigma will be equals to n e square tau upon m. This is called conductivity. As we know, resistivity always opposes the flow of electric current, but conductivity always support the flow of electric current in a circuit, okay. The conductivity of a conductor or you can say metal is very high, but resistivity is very low. And in the case of insulator, the conductivity is very less, it is negligible, so it cannot conduct electricity, okay. So what is the SI unit of conductance? The SI unit of conductance is ohm inverse, because the SI unit of resistance is ohm, so it will be ohm inverse, or it is also called Simon, okay. So the SI unit of conductance is ohm inverse or Simon, which is represented by capital S, okay. And what is the SI unit of this conductivity? The SI unit of conductivity is ohm inverse meter inverse, okay. So at the place of ohm inverse we can write Simon upon m. So the SI unit of conductivity is Simon per meter, okay. And the remaining part of this chapter will be discussed in my next video. So thank you guys.